Deep in the heart of modern-day Jordan lies a breathtaking geographical anomaly that utterly defies the punishing logic of the arid wasteland. Imagine walking through the Sick, a narrow, winding geological fault line where sheer, undulating rock faces rise hundreds of feet into the air, plunging the sandy floor into a perpetual, cooling twilight. The atmosphere is hushed, carrying the faint, dry scent of ancient dust and mineral-rich stone. Suddenly, the claustrophobic canyon splits open to reveal a colossal, impossibly intricate facade carved directly into the blushing, rose-red cliff. The immediate, overwhelming paradox strikes us. How could a thriving, water-rich metropolis exist in a desolate place where rain is little more than a fleeting rumor? This is Petra, a monumental testament to human defiance against the most unforgiving elements on Earth. The ancient people who built this architectural wonder did not merely survive their punishing surroundings. They orchestrated an awe-inspiring empire of stone and hydrology. By uncovering ingenious methods of environmental adaptation, they transformed a barren, rocky basin into one of the most powerful and wealthy cities of the ancient world. Their survival was not a matter of pure chance, but of profound observation, relentless innovation, and an intimate, ongoing dialogue with the harsh desert that surrounded them. The brilliant architects of this impossible city were the Nabataean people. Originally a resilient tribe of nomadic pastoralists wandering the vast, sun-baked expanses of the Arabian Peninsula, they eventually settled in this rugged, mountainous terrain during the 4th century before the Common Era. To the outside, civilized world, this desolate region was considered terra nullius, a barren, unclaimed territory completely devoid of agricultural value or life-sustaining resources. But the Nabataeans possessed a uniquely perceptive vision, recognizing the profound strategic brilliance of a hidden valley fortified by impenetrable rings of jagged stone. Their society rapidly evolved into a profound historical anomaly. Unlike the grand, sprawling empires of Rome or Egypt, which built their foundational wealth along the fertile, highly predictable floodplains of massive river valleys, this desert civilization relied entirely on the invisible and the ephemeral. They possessed no Nile, no Tigris, no Euphrates to reliably sustain their crops or quench the daily thirst of their growing citizenry. Instead, their entire urban experiment depended on mastering the sporadic, violent forces of nature that only occasionally swept through the arid canyons. They meticulously chiseled homes, grand royal tombs, and monumental temples directly into the living sandstone, creating a breathtaking, organic skyline that emerged seamlessly from the earth itself. The architecture was a fascinating exercise in cultural syncretism, a deliberate blending of their own indigenous traditions with the Hellenistic, Egyptian, and Assyrian styles they encountered through their extensive travels. This brilliant fusion created an aesthetic that was entirely unique, a stunning visual representation of a people who stood confidently at the crossroads of the world while remaining fiercely independent. But the magnificent, towering stone facades alone could not possibly sustain a thriving, densely packed population in such an extreme, hostile climate. The true, underlying secret of their extraordinary survival lay hidden beneath the sandy pathways and concealed behind the elaborately carved walls. It was a breathtaking masterpiece of fluid dynamics that remains astonishing even by contemporary, technologically advanced engineering standards. We must look beyond the monumental architecture to truly understand the hidden lifeblood of the city. Water management was their ultimate currency, their primary defense mechanism, and their most closely guarded secret. The region immediately surrounding the city receives a meager few inches of rainfall annually. And when it does finally rain, the hardened, baked earth simply cannot absorb the sudden moisture. This geological reality results in sudden, catastrophic flash floods that tear through the narrow gorges with devastating, lethal force. For most desert dwellers across history, these unpredictable floods were a terrifying menace to be avoided at all costs. Instead of fearing the torrential, destructive waters, these desert masters ingeniously harnessed them. They constructed a vast, nearly invisible and highly sophisticated network of solid dams, overflow conduits, and massive subterranean cisterns designed to capture, calm, and store every precious drop of the brief winter rains. By carving intricate terraced channels into the surrounding mountains, they essentially transformed the entire geological basin into a gigantic, highly efficient rainwater catchment system. Miles of interlocking terracotta pipes snaked seamlessly through the canyon walls, meticulously angled by master surveyors to maintain a steady, unpressurized flow of liquid life. This precise gradient was a stroke of absolute genius, preventing the fragile clay pipes from bursting under high pressure while ensuring a continuous, reliable delivery of fresh, clean water to a population that eventually swelled to tens of thousands. They understood the complex physics of water with an almost supernatural intuition. The ultimate result of this monumental, generation-spanning engineering effort was the creation of an artificial, flourishing oasis in the heart of a wasteland. Beautiful fountains bubbled continuously in the shaded, luxurious courtyards of wealthy merchants, and massive public pools reflected the harsh desert sun in a deliberate, awe-inspiring display of liquid wealth. Lush gardens bloomed where absolutely nothing should have grown, and sophisticated agricultural terraces yielded abundant harvests of grapes, figs, and wheat from the dry, unforgiving soil. To successfully control water in a barren wasteland is to control life itself. The echoes of those hydraulic triumphs still resonate deeply through the arid canyons today, whispering of a highly organized society that flatly refused to be defeated by its challenging geography. Their engineering was not an arrogant act of conquering nature, but a profound act of listening to it, capturing its fleeting, violent gifts, and carefully hoarding them against the inevitable, punishing drought. This absolute, undeniable mastery over their environment transformed the Hidden Valley into a vital, unavoidable global nexus. It rapidly became the beating, prosperous heart of the ancient trade routes that crisscrossed the known world. The city was strategically, perfectly positioned at the crucial intersection of overland paths linking the deep Arabian Peninsula, the wealth of Egypt, the Levant, and the bustling ports of the Mediterranean Sea. Caravans of weary, dust-covered travelers and exhausted camels, having traversed the unforgiving, sun-scorched dunes of the deep desert for harrowing weeks, desperately needed a secure, reliable sanctuary. The hidden city offered the only dependable, abundant water source for hundreds of miles in any given direction. It was not merely a convenient waypoint. It was a mandatory stop, an absolute lifeline in a terrifying ocean of shifting sand. The city's visionary leaders brilliantly monetized their meticulously engineered artificial oasis. They provided vital shelter, military security, and life-saving water, but at a steep premium, heavily taxing the incredibly lucrative luxury goods flowing constantly through their fortified gates. Aromatic frankincense and myrrh from southern Arabia, fine silks from distant eastern empires, and exotic spices destined for the lavish tables of Roman emperors all passed through this narrow, controlled bottleneck. This immense compounding economic leverage turned a once nomadic tribe into formidable geopolitical heavyweights on the world stage. They accumulated staggering, almost unfathomable wealth, negotiating complex treaties with massive neighboring empires, and maintaining their fiercely guarded independence through a potent combination of immense financial power and an impenetrable geographic fortress. They were the undisputed, brilliantly calculating lords of the global desert economy. The Hidden Valley blossomed rapidly into a vibrant, highly cosmopolitan hub of intellectual and cultural exchange. It became a fascinating realm of liminal spaces, transitional zones where the harsh, unforgiving laws of the deep desert blurred seamlessly with the refined, complex customs of the sown agricultural lands. Wealthy merchants, learned scholars, and shrewd diplomats from Greece, Rome, India, and Egypt mingled in the bustling, fragrant marketplaces, exchanging philosophical ideas as freely as they traded physical goods. Yet despite their immense material wealth and constant cosmopolitan exposure, their fundamental spiritual connection to the raw environment never eroded. The local deities, such as the supreme mountain-dwelling god Dushara, were intrinsically linked to the rugged peaks, the enduring stone, and the life-giving, miraculous rain. They did not worship in enclosed, artificially lit temples, but in spectacular, open-air high places carved directly into the summits, keeping the vast sky and the solid stone ever present in their daily spiritual lives. They understood, perhaps significantly better than any modern industrialized society, that their very existence was entirely conditional. The landscape, once described in its brutal harshness, now whispered of a fragile, beautiful equilibrium between soaring human ambition and strict, undeniable ecological limits. They knew deep in their cultural bones that their survival was a daily, delicate negotiation with the scorching sun, the unyielding stone, and the unpredictable sky. The eventual tragic decline of this extraordinary desert metropolis was not wrought by a sudden violent cataclysm or a single military defeat. Instead, it was brought about by the slow, inexorable shifting of global commerce and the restless, unpredictable movements of the earth itself. The echoes of those ancient beliefs remained steadfast, but the harsh political and economic reality of the wider world was changing rapidly around them. When the expanding Roman Empire formally annexed the kingdom in the 2nd century, the crucial political autonomy of the valley was forever lost. More devastatingly, as maritime technology steadily improved, the highly lucrative global trade routes gradually shifted away from the arduous, dangerous overland caravan trails to cheaper, faster shipping lanes on the Red Sea. The city's vital economic lifeblood slowly dried up, much like a neglected cistern left unreplenished by the vital winter rains. Without the immense, constant wealth generated by the passing caravans, the massive, highly skilled workforce required to maintain the delicate, complex water systems could no longer be financially sustained. Devastating earthquakes further fractured the subterranean terracotta pipes and cracked the foundations of the great stone dams. Without constant, meticulous human intervention to keep the desert at bay, the relentless blowing sands slowly began to reclaim the magnificent carved facades. The vibrant, bustling civilization eventually faded into the shadowy realm of myth, but their monumental engineering remained, silent and miraculously enduring. The paradox's shadow still loomed heavily over the empty, echoing tombs and the dry, cracked cisterns, a haunting, beautiful reminder of a brilliant people who once commanded the rain. The metropolis became a ghost, its profound secrets buried under centuries of shifting, whispering dunes. Today, modern hydrologists and environmental engineers study these ancient, brilliant catchment systems with a profound sense of awe and deep professional humility. In a contemporary era facing unprecedented global climate challenges, rapidly increasing desertification, and severe life-threatening water scarcity, the wisdom of these ancient desert masters offers far more than just a passing historical curiosity. It offers a highly relevant, deeply practical blueprint for human survival. They teach us a vital, incredibly urgent lesson. True, lasting resilience does not come from arrogantly attempting to dominate a harsh environment with brute technological force or endless resource extraction. Rather, it comes from intimately understanding the natural, undeniable rhythms of the earth, adapting gracefully to its extremes and working intelligently within its absolute constraints. Their enduring legacy is a profound, timeless masterclass in sustainable existence. Our journey through this rose-red canyon leaves us fundamentally changed, our intellectual perspective permanently shifted. We see not merely the beautiful, romantically decaying ruins of a lost civilization, but a profound, enduring testament to human ingenuity and adaptability. The ancient masters of the desert carved their fierce defiance and their deep ecological wisdom into the very soul of the earth, leaving a vital message written in stone and water for anyone willing to truly listen.